Hi there and welcome to the Jamboard tutorial video. It's nice to have you and we hope that you learn a lot so that you will be excited to use Jamboard as an engagement tool with your students. Now, what exactly is Jamboard? Well, it is an interactive whiteboard system developed by Google as part of Google Workspace. Jamboard quickly pulls in images from a Google search, saves the work to the cloud automatically so you don't need to worry about saving all the time, uses easy-to-read handwriting and shape recognition tools, and you can draw with a stylus but erase with your finger just like on a real whiteboard. So it's a very versatile and easy-to-use app that Google provides. Now I'd like to show you an activity that I designed using Jamboard. Okay, so I am going to have students go to a link from a jam I've created. So I created jam and then I get the link. I'll show you how in just a little bit how to do that. I press Control-C here and I'm going to go into a new tab here. Press Control-V. And so I have a jam. And I actually have 2 pages. It says 1 out of 2. And I have some different things I can do. So I have inserted a map onto this blank whiteboard. And I can ask students to take the pen tool, let's say, which is right over here. And they can click on the little arrow to change the width of the pen or type of the pen and the color. And so I can say, circle the next place you would like to visit. And then we can go around and explain why we would like to visit those different places. And so this is a great way to get to know your students and to have students get to know each other. You can also use it as a way to test for understanding or knowledge about various places, various resources, political issues, whatever, by using a simple schematic such as a map. Now another thing you can do, I'm going to click to my next jam, is you can insert, if you teach any math related content, you can insert some graphs. And then you can use the texting tool down here on the left and write some simple questions that prompt the students to do something. So you can prompt them to write an F near the functions, write 1-1 near the one-to-one functions, and write INV near functions that will have inverses. So this will be a great way to check for understanding from different students in your classes. Okay, so those are 2 simple ideas that you can do. So in what different ways do you think that you can use Jamboard in your classroom to engage students? So I want you to think about that as we go, and we will discuss in a little bit. But now I want to show you how to create a Jamboard. It's very easy to do. Now, Jamboard is a Google app. So you need to create a Google account if you don't already have one. Now remember that students at MDC use Google, so you will need to create a student MDC account and then register for the Gmail, the Google account, with your MDC student account. Okay, so to do that, step 1 is you want to get an MDC account. Okay, so you need to go to this link. There's also a phone number that can help you. And this gives you the directions of how to create an MDC student account, even if you're a faculty or staff. And so you need to follow the directions, which are very basic. One thing that tripped me up a little bit when I did this the first time is I thought I don't have a student ID. Well, you can put your employee ID from your ID card right in here. It's 10 digits as well. And when I did that, it worked just fine. So again, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go through the process of creating your MDC Gmail account for students. And then you're going to go step 2, sign up for the Gmail account using the account you just created, your NDC student account. And so you'd go to google.com for that. Okay, so once you have your account established, you're going to go to Google and sign in. Okay, and then I'm going to just click here and make sure this is my student, or this was registered by my student MDC account. So that is the correct account. So now I'm in Google, and now I go to this waffle on the right, and this is all the Google apps. And so I can scroll down, and now I can click on Jamboard. And so I can see the previous jams I've done, okay, and I can delete them by pressing these 3 dots, rename, remove, download as a PDF. Okay, I can click on them to edit them as well. Okay, so that's the map one I just showed you. Now, creating a Jamboard is very, very easy. If you go down to the lower right, you're going to click on the plus. And I noticed that plus in Google Drive and Google Docs, they use that look a lot of their buttons. So now I have created a new jam, and this is our screen. I can title the jam maybe Jamboard Demo number 1 or something. And now I want to show you around the screen. So we have the pen tool, but if I click on the right little arrow there, it's a marker or a highlighter or even a paintbrush. And then I can also change the color. Okay, and I can change it back to a pen, and we see that it's a lot better. And so it would be best to use a stylus if you plan on handwriting with this. Okay, and the students also can buy inexpensive styluses, depending on what you want to use Jamboard for. Now there's also an eraser, and it erases exactly where you say. It won't erase the whole screen. To erase the whole screen, you would click Clear Frame at the top. Okay, but just to erase a little bit, you can use the eraser tool. Now I have the select tool, and that will help me to not actually select the writing, but if I put a sticky note or an image or something else, the select tool will pick it up and drop it. I can drag and drop it somewhere else. Now I have this sticky note tool, and so I can change the color at the top, or no color. I can just have it be white. Okay, but I'm going to go with yellow, and I'm going to type something, and click Save. Okay, and now I'm going to get out of here just by clicking back on my whiteboard space. Now with the selection tool, notice that it turns into that double arrow, and I can drag it around. I can rotate it. I can resize it. And then the 3 dots on the right let me edit it, duplicate it, or delete it. Now if I press duplicate, notice it's in front of the previous sticky note. So I can actually now switch the order, and now the first sticky note on the left is in front. So you can play with those settings to get the look that you want, depending on what you're trying to do. Okay, now the next option on the left, or tool, is to add an image. And so I can upload from my computer. I can go by a URL of an image I found online. I can take a picture. Okay, and so I kind of have that blurred out now, but I can snap a selfie, or I can take a picture of something in my environment. My favorite is the Google image search, so I can just search Google and insert the image directly in there. Okay, Okay, I can also find something from Google Drive or if I've uploaded anything into Google Photos. Okay, but the Google image search, maybe I'll look for ocean breeze or something. I'm just typing in anything. And I'm going to click on a picture that I like and then click Insert. And so here is a picture that I can now rotate. I can resize it. And I can duplicate, delete, or send it behind or backwards or behind text or behind other images. So that's easy to insert a picture for sure. Now I can also put in shapes. And so I have a circle here. If I click the arrow, I have a square, a triangle, a diamond, and some other shapes that I can play with. Okay, and here are some editing options at the top. Every time I click on something on the left bar, notice that that top ribbon changes. And so I can maybe fill inside of my shape. I can write on my shape, or that was the outline rather. Okay, if I wanted to write on it, I'd need that text tool. Okay, and that's the next tool is the text tool. Kind of self-explanatory. Okay, but you can actually change the font size, you can change the color, you can change if it's centered or left or right. Okay, and so we can just type anything that we want. And then we can pick it up and move it around. Okay, so lots of fun that you and your students can have collaborating on this board. Now the last tool on the left is the laser pointer. And this is if you want to highlight something, but you don't want that highlighting to stick around. It's just temporary. And so you can really bring your audience's attention to something for a moment, and so that they're focused there. Now on the left side, I have an undo and then a redo option. And then I can also zoom in or out. I can click the arrow to adjust the size of the entire jam. Okay, or I can blow it up to 200%. I can zoom in and out. Okay, so let me zoom out here and get it back to its regular size. And then at the top, I can clear the frame, which will clear everything inside. That's erase all. So I did that. Okay, let's see if I undo, I get it all back so it's not lost forever. And then I can also set the background. So let me go to a new slide to show you that. So, or a new jam, we should say. And so I can change the background to be this kind of dotted graph paper, lined paper that looks like a college rule, and I'm not sure if there is, I don't think that there is the standard rule, just the college rule here. Okay, we also have regular graph paper and another coloring of the graph paper and some other backgrounds. Now you can also upload an image. So I'm going to do my Google search again and maybe look for interesting backgrounds. Okay, and maybe I will put these balloons. Now notice that the image I cannot move around because it is the background. If I want to be able to move it around and adjust it, I would need to insert it as an image. But to set the background, you cannot move or adjust that image at all. It takes all or mostly all of the background. Okay, so that's the basics of Jamboard. Now here on the right, we have more actions. So I can rename the Jamboard. I can download it as a PDF. I can save the frame as an image. remove, make a copy, I can get help, send feedback to Google, and also see a version history. So some basic options there. And then I can also share my Jamboard in a few different ways. Okay, so you can add any people or any groups that you want. Okay, and you would need their appropriate email addresses. Okay, also you can copy a link and you can have the link only be open to the people that you have named, or you can change it to be anyone with the link. Okay, and then you can copy the link. Another option that's really important is you can make that person or people that you allow to see your jam just viewers so they cannot edit it. But if you want true collaboration, you would change to editor. Okay, so I am going to copy the link and then click done. And then I can put it into an email or an announcement or into my learning management system to share with students. And so that is how you can create a jam and how you can share your jam with students. Now I want to show you how to share your jam in Blackboard. So you go to whichever jam you want to share from your main screen. You click on the share button, and I am going to copy the link. I made my permissions that anyone on the internet with the link can view it, or remember that you can only have specific people in groups if you want. But now I have my link copied. So now on my other tab I have Blackboard open. I click on courses. And I find my sandbox, which is where I'm going to just show you this. And I have an assignments area. Okay, and I am going to create an item. I'll call this a Jamboard demo number 3. It looks like I already had a number 2. Okay, and I'm going to go into the text editor and press Control V, and that will paste the link. Once I hit enter, I get this nicer looking link, and then I hit submit. Now when I go find it, and you see I had some other tests that I did, but the students will see a link with the title of your jam, as well as the link tells them it's Google Jamboard they'll be dealing with. And so they simply click the link, and then they click it again because it's taking them to an external site, and then it will take them to the specific Jamboard that you wanted them to work with, okay, or to see. And so it's very easy to share your Jamboard in Blackboard. Okay, now that you've seen how to create and share your Jamboard, I'd like you to pause the video for a few moments and write down a few ideas of how you think you might use Jamboard with your specific students. Okay, we will wait. So go ahead and pause and then come back for the rest of the video. Now I want to give you some ideas about using Jamboard in your classroom, and hopefully you've come up with some of the ideas I'm going to talk about. Now the first thing you can do is use during in-class breakout sessions for collaborating on ideas as a group in a shared document that can be further shared with and edited by others. So using during your breakout groups is a wonderful idea. Okay, you can also share the Everyone Can Edit link with students in Google Classroom for a whole class collaboration. So that's if you use the Google Classroom tool. Now you can also use shapes to highlight. So you can draw a shape on Jamboard and set the fill color as transparent. Make border colors different so they're invisible and have each one stand for something like parts of speech in a sentence. Then students can duplicate the boxes and use them to highlight important parts of the content on the frame. Another idea is you can add text to a jam and annotate. Take a screenshot of a text or a passage from a book, part of an article, whatever you want. Then you can encourage students to annotate it by using the highlighter and dragging frames around important sentences. Then they would have to justify their responses. You can use multiple frames for multiple passages if needed. Okay, so these are some wonderful ideas I have found online that other teachers have used. Now, sticky note brainstorming I really like. The Jamboard is great for brainstorming sessions, and especially in those smaller breakout groups, it would be ideal. So the students can work on gathering ideas, sorting them by color, organizing them on different frames, moving them together, drawing lines to connect important ideas, etc. So this really allows students to collaborate while they brainstorm, okay, and easily move things around. Now, another idea I read about is digital posters. So images and text about a topic can be put on a Jamboard, and then you can ask students to each post their own. The students can then collaborate and share on each other's posters. Now, another thing you can do is use this as a teaching whiteboard. So for remote learning, you can share your screen with students while on a video call, and they can write on it. You can also bring back the whiteboard from a previous session and add to or modify that. You cannot do this in Teams, Collaborate, Ultra, or Zoom, but you can with Jamboard. So you should use a stylus or pen to handwrite, which would be much better for math-related content and scientific notations and such. Now, another idea you might use Jamboard for is storytelling. So this one has many possibilities. Students can find images and tell a story. You can add images and have students tell stories about them. Or you can do an add and pass activity where students add slides with an image and some text to a story, and then the whole class together builds the story. So this can be great for all language classes as well as other types of classes such as history, okay, or even screenwriting. Okay, now another thing that would be really powerful is you can screen record to describe thinking. So students can do screen recordings with tools like Screencastify or Panopto, which are free. And then they can describe how they've solved a problem, show us exactly what they do, and justify their rationale. Another popular use of Jamboard are graphic organizers. So you can create a graphic organizer so students can draw, write, and move items around. There are tons of graphic organizers you can download from online and insert into a Jamboard frame, and then you and the students together can fill it in. So how did you do? Were any of the items that you came up with on my list? Well, my list is certainly not comprehensive because I saw so many different ideas and websites online for how to use Jamboard in the classroom. It's been around for a while. It's very, very popular. Now, just a note about Jamboard and ADA compliance. So you can join and navigate through Google Meet meetings using a screen reader on Jamboard. TalkBack is the Google screen reader included on Android devices. TalkBack gives you spoken feedback so you can use Jamboard without looking at the screen. Now, a note is that TalkBack only works for Google Meet on the board. It will not verbalize anything in a Jam frame. Also, someone who is using the Jamboard app can make text sizes they're putting on the whiteboard any size they want and whatever combination of colors that's easiest to see. And also students can adjust the sizes and zoom in and out to see better. So that's it about Jamboard. Okay, we really hope that you enjoyed the video and will be able to use Jamboard as a powerful and helpful collaborative tool in your classes. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you have any questions or comments about this video, please feel free to contact us at ciol@mdc.edu. Thank you and have a wonderful day.